what I want to do is that anyway, we had one level of meditation the other day. So now I want to introduce you to this uh, conscious clinging. And then we see through Mahahattipada Upama Sutta how Sariputta explains in a very detailed way. Okay, the first thing we need to understand here is that the consciousness is what? Yes, there is a lot of explanation what Buddha gives. I don't know whether we have really understood or not understood. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the one which knows. That's the answer. Okay. If you've seen the Genius Sutta, he explains what does it know. It knows salty, it knows sweet, it knows astringent, it knows hot, like that. The knower is consciousness. So, this clarity you need to have. Anything that is knowing, and another English word is cognize, which means to know. When we say cognition, I have a cognitive ability, means I have the ability to know. So, the consciousness knows the object, the consciousness knows the subject. So, the subject object connecting is consciousness. So when we use the Pali word chakuncha patit pecha upajati chakku vinyana, it means that there is a conscious experience of the sight and the rupa, which is the form. I is not the form is not the I, but when consciousness brings both of them together, it seems like the I has picked up the form. You understand? Any doubts you have on this? If I am seeing Ashwin, before I come to the point that he's Ashwin, there is a conscious experience of the sight with that object. And that object gets imprinted as Ashwin at that moment itself. It's not that first I'll see the object and then I will figure out who is this, and then I make it as, oh, Ashwin, it's you. No. When I see Ashwin. I don't see anything else other than Ashwin. Please understand. So if you're seeing your wife, if you're seeing your husband, if you're seeing your children, if you're seeing office, if you're seeing school, if you're seeing car, if you're seeing bus, you're seeing whatever you're seeing, you are at the very moment experiencing it. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, quick question. So I guess there are times when you see someone you don't immediately recognize, and after a little bit you say, ah. But even in that case, I guess you have a basic cognition and recognition already. It's just that cognition hasn't come.
Exactly. So that is adukka sukha vedana. You are able to make out what that object is. So that is where the ignorance is. If you know the object, it will make you like it. If you don't like that object, it makes you hate it. You understand? Say, let's say Bobby talks in Malayalam and the remaining people sitting here talk in Marathi. And most of them are Maharashtrians, except for me and poor guy Mrityunjay, who are not Maharashtrians, and you not even an Indian. So if they all were to speak to you, you won't understand a single word of it. But yet the sound is entering into your ear and exiting out of the other ear. So you are having adukha, asukha vedana, which is coming in the conscious experience. What if I know Chinese? Or what if you know Kannada? Then there's a conscious experience of Kannada as opposed to just the sound. Okay. And or if I speak in Chinese, there is a conscious experience of Chinese, which was not there. So it was in neutral. Then if I learn that language, then it no longer has neutrality. It will turn itself into raga, liking or disliking based upon the tone, the structure of the talk. Otherwise, even if you're shouting at me, I won't even know what you're saying because I can't understand what you're saying. So I'll just be watching your face like this, and you will be cursing me in Chinese, which I still will be smiling because it's neutral experience. Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's why anything that's not neutral is always conditioned because it starts in a neutral way.
Correct, correct. So all the three. So if you really see all the suttas, Buddha gives clarification that what is consciousness. He says it knows sukha, dukkha, adukha, asukha. It knows. Please mark that. It knows. So there's nothing like I will teach it. Who the hell are you to teach it? It knows. Okay, there's nothing called teaching it. Now, in this consciousness, you have two things. One is ayoniso, taking things literally as they are. And yoniso is not taking things as they are. Got the point? In the same consciousness, not there is a different consciousness. In the same consciousness, I can take it as Ariyu and suffer along with Ariyu, or I know there is no Ariyu. So Nibbana is when there is no Ariyu because it's no longer conditioned. But if there is a conscious clinging, what happens? It takes the form and develops the form. It takes the feeling, develops the feeling. It takes the perception, develops the perception. It takes the preparation, develops the preparation. It takes the consciousness and develops it completely. So, Buddhi means development, Virulla means growth, like that. So, there are four things which are there, which I've already covered. Just want to bring you back to that. Okay? So, please remember this sutta in Sanyukta Nikaya, Upaya Sutta, because that is what is upaya. Anupayo is not clinging, upayo is to cling. So you're clinging to something which you shouldn't be clinging in the first place. Why should you cling to something? What makes you cling? Don't cling. But I want to cling. Who? I means who? That consciousness is now clinging onto that name and form. And that's the reason Buddha says, Vinyana Samudaya. How does it happen? Namarupa Samudaya, Vinyana Samudaya. Namarupa Nirodho, Vinyana Nirodho. Why? Because for consciousness, it requires something to be burning. Then it goes and lands there and makes it even more burning. So that is called cognition. So it can cognize. Really? So it can cognize whatever you would like it to cognize. No, it will cognize irrespective of whether you like it, you dislike it, you remain neutral to it. It has got no flavor. When it cognizes based upon the past experience, it likes it. So we can say, I'm liking it, on the past experience. If it has not liked it, it got a dukkha vedana, so it will take it as I don't like it. Or if it doesn't know what it is, it is still searching what it is, then it is neutral. Got the point? So when I first met Ariu, as an example, in 2019, the first few seconds, it took for both of us to handshake our way. So what happened? It started to grow. So there is a rupa form, there is a feeling of meeting Ariu, there is a perception of having Ariu, there's a preparation to keep on meeting Ariu, and there's a conscious experience of Ariu. But all are clinging up. Upayo, not anupayo, it's upayo. That means if Ariu is not around with me, I feel not happy. Or if Ariu is with me, I'm not happy. You got the point. Now that Ariu sponsored me to America, I love him. Why? Because he sponsored me to America. Why else? Wow. What has America got to do with Ariu? Because he stays in America. So there is a conscious experience of America. There is a conscious experience of Ariu. Since I love America in the past, so whoever gives me a ticket to America, I start loving them. You got the point. This is how it works. Whereas the people sitting here are from Maharashtra, they say, Vilas, please help us. You please come to our place and then teach us Dhamma. I say, it's very hot. It's not that good. Food is not okay. That is not okay. This is not okay because it's not America. What if somebody sitting here will say that, hey, Vilas, I'm sponsoring you to America? Will I not go? Why do I do it? Because there is upayo. So I love America, so I go. And what happens to Bobby? I've not seen Australia. What if I fall in love with Australia? And then I will evaluate to go to America or to Australia. And let's say if I fall in more love in Australia, then what's going to do? Then I'll forget America and I go to Australia. So just like I do with this Maharashtrian poor fellow saying that I cannot come, and then if Ariu asks me come to America, I'll say, not this time. Ariu, maybe you can come here, but I'd love to be in Australia. And Ariu will feel, did a scorpion bite him? Did he became mad, or something he fell down, or what happened? I don't know. Did he become angry with me or whatever? No, it's not like that. There's no conscious experience at all of America. It's become neutral. At one point in time, it was having sukha vedana. And not going to America was like a dukkha vedana, but now it has become neutral. So, indifferent. Yes.
I'm just thinking between this word upaya and upadana. I guess upaya, you already kept it close. And upadana have additional clinging because it's adana. It doesn't want to give now.
Yes, upa is near. Adana is not to give. Keep it near and not give. Whereas upayo or upaya is to hold on, cling to it, just clinging, enough to cling onto something. I'm clinging onto this monitor so that I don't fall down. That's clinging. So what consciousness does is to cling like as though it is real. So when it sees the object and the subject, the subjective experience becomes real experience because of the object. It's just a subjective experience. It's not has no real experience. It's subjective. That's the reason we say subjective. Subjective to what it means. It can vary from person to person. That's the reason it's called subjective. And indeed, it is like that. If you give the same food to everyone and where to ask them, how do you rate it, each will give a different rating. If you go to a training center and you ask him to rate the training, how they have got, each will rate differently. Okay, if you were to give a project and ask, how do you feel about the project, each person will rate it differently. Why? Because subjective experience. There's no objectivity at all. Even though we call it subjective, there's no objective. Even the appraisals, what we do in the organization, is subjective. There's no objectivity. We just say, oh, it's a performance appraisal, it's very objective oriented. Bullshit. It's 100% subjective based upon what your manager thinks rather than what you think about your manager. You can't say anything. The manager will say everything for you. He likes you, he will rate you high. If he doesn't like you, he will rate you low. If he's neutral to you, then you feel okay. Then you call him as non-biased because he's remained neutral. That means the consciousness has remained neutral, not that he is neutral or she is neutral. Yes.
I think Ashwin had raised his hand first, but had a question, comment.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I'm just simple. So the definition of upaya, maybe we can say iha loke priya rupe satu rupe ethistatan upajamana upajati and
That
nivasamana.
is for craving. No, 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 no. You're gone in a different route altogether.
Okay. It's a cleansing, only just attachment. Okay.
Just holding,
Holding.
not yet coming into craving. Then it turns into craving.
So this is a process, and this is just a final. Is a upaya is a final things clinched attached.
Whenever you see something, hear something, taste something, you cling on to it so that it grows. It's got nothing to do with craving, and then it turns into craving because you want to get that effect again and again and again. Because the dopamine level comes down. And dopamine is created by what? It is created by brain. But what is creating that in the brain? Consciousness. So who is doing it? It's a consciousness which is doing it. Simple. Neurochemicals can never happen independently of consciousness. So there's nothing in this world which is devoid of consciousness. So it's not like that. And you took that from that Satipatthana Sutta, that is not upaya.
No, just I thought means it's a attachment clinging, particularly when we have a.
Let us be very clear. Ajhosa is attachment. In Pali, word is ajhosa. If they use the word ajhosa, it is attachment. Since English word doesn't have a particular words, we have to roughly use the same thing. But attachment per se is ajhosa. Okay, like effort. Virya can also mean effort, but pariyosana is the actual word. It is called pariyosana, mean you put effort. Okay. Like that. So if we don't know, we will put the same word and we get thoroughly confused. So in the sutta, you should find ajhosa. That is actual attachment. Tanha is craving. If they have used any other than tanha, is nothing to do with craving. So upadana, near, adana is not to give. Put it in whichever way you call it, as clinging, you call it by holding, you call it by whatever. If you can understand what it means, I don't want to give. It's so dear to me, I can't give. That's what it is. So craving creates that. Because you've got it, you don't want to give, because the eye has got that flavor. The ear has got that flavor. The tongue has got that flavor. The nose has got that flavor. The body has got that flavor. So why will it give it? It's mine. I have enjoyed it. There's an enjoyer. Like that. Yes, sir.
And when you're saying about attachment, I was thinking this analayo. Is it related to attachment? Alayo?
Analayo.
Analayo.
Analayo. Alaya means is to lean.
Oh.
Analaya is not to lean. It's got nothing to do with the attachment. That's the reason I'm telling you. The analayo, alayo. Alayo is to lean towards. Like in the Chula Vedala Sutta, she asked, this Visakha asked, where it leans. She says it leans towards Viveka. Yes.
Yeah, earlier I was thinking because I was asked to write appraisal for someone, and my manager said use all good words. So I become aware how I'm conditioning another person which has a neutral feeling about someone with some good words. So he start having sukha vedana about this person. So he would approve his promotion by me using all those. I'm conditioning another consciousness.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so this is what you need to understand on this sutta. Very important sutta. If you have not read it, it's your misfortune. If you have read it, your fortune. Because if you don't understand, it's very difficult to proceed further. You should know how consciousness clings onto that, puts like a net or a sling, like a sling bag. It just puts like this and holds to it so that it keeps on sucking. So eyes will start sucking the form, ears will start sucking the sound, tongue will start sucking the taste, body will start sucking the touch. Okay, nose will start sucking the smell or fragrance. The sucking, it just keeps on sucking. As though there is an object here and real subject here, and this object is going and getting inside the subject. This illusion is created by consciousness. And that's the reason Buddha uses the word Maya. Maya, upamancha vinyanam. Because this object has no correlation with this subject. They are separated out like this. So when we say phassa is no conscious experience, meaning if there is no phassa, there is no conscious experience, then you are in nibbana, because there is nothing that these objects are going and getting inside the subject. So how do you get this done? Very simple. Practice signless, animitta. If you do anything other than that, wherein I will observe the sensation and sensation and sensation, very good, you will end up only in a sensation person. Because this subject is always meeting. So what sensation are you watching? Irritation. Irritation has come. Anicca, anicca, anicca. What anicca? It will not go. To learn, you require this. Then you should know how to cut these two. Plug and a socket. If you have put the plug inside, it will have an experience. So why don't you unplug it? And there's no experience. That's Nibbana. It's no longer bound. Bound by what? Object, subject. So analayo, no, anupayo. That is vimukti. And that's what the sutta says. One who is in upayo is always in bonding. one who is in Anupaya is in Vimukti. So, what does that mean? It's a two-step process. First step, have an Indriya Samvara. Don't allow the consciousness to go behind the objects. Even though you're saying eyes are going behind the sight, it's actually consciousness which is binding this and this together. Is there a possibility that this doesn't happen? Yes, there is. If you don't describe what it is, if you don't create a sign, and it's absolutely fair, can be done. Now the question comes, how? Teach me how. Simple. First create space, spaciousness, if you think that works for you. Now in this phase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What else you want? When you're seeing someone, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Consciousness cannot get established because the perception of the object is no longer there. So the I cannot take the subject. I as a subject, does it has a subject? The answer is no. So instantaneously you will get into Anupaya. There is no clinging. If there is no clinging, is there an experience? No. What will you get an experience out of this whole? Nothing. There is one sutta where a bhikkhu becomes an arhat looking at the teeth. Because anupayo, what will you make out of that? That's exactly what I was telling Tina the other day, Aryu. At you're a dentist, you should be able to work on this much. Because you've seen every internal of that person, you've gone inside, pulled it, did this, did that. And she's a gum specialist. So she would have seen gums, the bleeding, blah, blah, all that. All the shit which is there in this mouth. So she can do it. So Anupaya. Upaya is with this full face. Start seeing only this Anupaya. Because there's no sign for this. There's no sign for this. What will you describe? Nothing. Then you can have a sign for the bones? No. Can you have sign for flesh? No. Can you have sign for urine? No. Can you have sign for feces? No. Good. Work on that. So the subject is gone. You just remove the subject. So where's the object? Nowhere to be found. So chakuncha paticcha rupecha uppajjati chakku vinyana did not happen. So tinna sangati phasso did not happen. Phassa pachaya vedana did not happen. Yam vedeti tam sanjanati did not happen. Yam sanjanati tam vitaketi did not happen. Yam vitaketi tam papancheti did not happen. Yam papancheti tato tam nidana purisa. Papancha sanyasanka samudacharanti did not happen. Atita did not happen. Anagata did not happen. Pachuppanna did not happen. Chakku vinyanesu rupesu also did not happen. So instantaneously you are in Madhu Pindika Sutta. So you are peaceful. So sweet. Why? Seeing is a disease, dart, dukkha. Now you are not seeing with conscious experience because there is no consciousness which is getting established. Some sound coming, allow it to pass through, let it pass through. That is anicca. You understand? The real anicca is when you cut off the consciousness. It's anicca. You can see its nature. It's anicca. When it's connected, it's dukkha. It's unconnected, sukha. There's no person. The consciousness was making atta, so now it's anatta, anicca, dukkha, anatta, asubha. Because the eye and the sight are asubha, ear and the sound are asubha. So now you're out, got rid of it, out of peaceful state. So you're always in fourth jhana, irrespective of whether you're doing closed eyes meditation or open eye, doesn't matter. So when I see Australia in next few days, there is no Australia at all. You never landed on Australia. That's it. When you don't land in Australia, there is no experience of Australia. So when you don't have any experience of Australia, then there is no clinging to Australia. If you don't have any clinging to Australia, then you will not be born in Australia. If you're not born in Australia, where are you going to die in Australia? Not there. Only if you're born in Australia, you're going to die in Australia. If you're born in India, you're going to die in India. What if in the first place you were never born in India to die in India? So you come out of suffering. That's it. So the six senses is death. So you're given up. So amata, deathless. That's anupaya. Very key sutta to practice, not to learn. This is not a learning sutta. It's a practice sutta. You got to see whether there's an upaya or anupaya. It doesn't matter whether you're bhikkhu or not a bhikkhu. It doesn't matter whether you're a lay follower or not a lay follower. It doesn't matter whether you're a householder or not a householder. It doesn't matter whether you have a wife or you don't have a wife. It doesn't matter you have children or not have children. It doesn't matter whether you're staying in a house or staying in a monastery or staying wherever. What you need to check is whether you have upaya or anupaya. That's what matters. No matter if you go and sit in monastery, if you have upayo, you are just a normal person wearing a colored dress. That's it. You're clinging. The consciousness is clinging onto the rupa, clinging onto vedana, clinging onto sanya, sankhara, vinyana, what else? Doesn't matter. It is about anupayo, not upayo. Just check. That's a reality check. So that's how we need to lead life. You don't have to run away anywhere. For that matter, you don't have to quit your job. Why? This is the rule of this game, that you have to keep on earning for a living. That's it. What makes you different? The moment you want difference means you are in upayo. It's different. I want to be different. Who wants to be different? You. That means you have a personality. Yes. So you're going to die. That's unfair. So you shouldn't have upaya, you should have anupaya. So it doesn't matter whether you're working or not working. It doesn't matter whether you're a family man or not a family man or a family woman. It doesn't matter you have 20 children or 1 children or whatever. Doesn't matter. Just come out of this madness. That's it. How does it matter? By leaving a job, you're going to be happy? No. By not leaving job, will you be happy? No. By being in job and not being in job, will you be happy then? No. By not being in job nor not being in job, will you be happy then? No. Because those are stupid questions, what normally people ask. If not this, that. If not that, this. So this kind of argument is called as Chatushkoti, tetralemma, absoluteness. Buddha Dhamma is the only Dhamma which doesn't argue on absolute sense. There's no absolutism, no absolute. If you have this condition, this is going to prevail. If there's no condition, it's not going to prevail. You cut the condition, you cut the condition of being a family person, you will not experience a family person. You cut the experience of office goer, you will not experience you are in office. You cut the experience having a wife or husband, you will never have a husband and a wife experience. Simple. Don't run anywhere. That is upayo. It's not anupayo. You're going towards bondage rather than going to liberation because you are attaching to something else and yet dreaming, I'm coming out of my family life. Bullshit. You're attaching to something else. That doesn't work. You have to make it an upaya. It's a beautiful sutta, Upaya Sutta. Don't forget. Sanyukta Nikaya 22.53, the most critical sutta. Before we go into this other sutta, Mahatipada Upama Sutta, we'll do it tomorrow. 99.9% I'll be in a house tomorrow. It's been continuous office for me. So tomorrow I'm taking a break from coming to office every day. So hopefully I should be able to do it tomorrow. So we'll take that tomorrow. But presently, remember, you can be in any country, cut out the country. You can be in any state, cut out the state. You can be speaking any language, cut out the language. Language is for communication. Just use it for what it is meant for. Don't have love and affection or some stupid thing about a language. And the same thing goes good for state, country, this, that, all of that. Cut off that mess. Because it is just symbolization, nimitta. It doesn't really exist. Animals have language, so do humans. So what's so different about it? No, I am so and so language person. A stupid guy. When you learn, then why do you learn another language then? If that was so great. No, we learn international language. What? International? Then what is your national language? Oh, you please don't ask me in this question. India doesn't have a national language. India has language, right? Yes, but we don't have a national language. Then without national language, how do you have an international language then? I don't know. My school didn't teach me. Good. Because your teacher also didn't know it. Right? So this is called as some stupid argument in Buddha language is called sampapalapa, which makes no sense of anything. You're just wasting time of yours and others. Instead, you just say, okay, there's language. It's required. What's your language? My language is Marathi. If I know Marathi, speak in Marathi, that guy will feel very happy. If I know Chinese, I'll speak in Chinese because that guy will feel happy. If I know English, I'll speak in English. And Bobby is Malayali, so I'll speak in Malayalam. He feels very happy. Oh, very nice. or he knows Kannada, so he will speak to me in few lines in Kannada. I feel, oh, Bobby, you know Kannada so nice. So then that's it, over. Why get associated? That is upayo. Anupaya is don't get associated. Just stay. Just watch. Just watch what happens. The conscious experience is not there, and that the moment of nibbana. Just remember this. Remove the conscious experience from both the subject and the object. You don't have to fight. Just remove the plug. The consciousness is the electrical signals which is running. Just remove it. Hmm? It stops. Yes, Bobby.
Bilasi, you said, for avoiding this getting attached to this consciousness, getting attached to the object, you have practiced signless object. So, is the consciousness is getting established in signless object, or when you are practicing, no, when you are practicing breath, is it what is happening when you are
It's
focusing on the
neutral
breath?
objects. See, the reason why you take breath is that you don't hate breath. Show me one person who hates to breathe. Have you heard anyone, including you, hating to breathe?
Yeah, like when you're consciously trying to be aware of the breath, sometimes you take some deep breaths or something, but
No,
otherwise
that
you
is
are,
fine. That is
yeah,
fine. But do you hate breathing?
no, no, not at all. But
Do you love breathing?
no, it's neutral. Yeah.
Ha. There is nothing called loving breathe. I love to breathe. You know what?
So
I
still at the moment when you are watching the breath, the consciousness is like the vijnana is getting established with the
no,
breath,
no,
right?
no, no. What you're trying to do is you're trying to pull the consciousness from the object and subject and putting it under breath because breath is neutral. It comes and goes. So you slowly become the witness to that till you become the witness.
Actually, one more question is when you are watching the breath, there is some kind of associated feelings with that, right? Because you feel the breath in every part of the body, and then there is a feeling. Yeah, it is kind of neutral. Like if you are specifically going to the feeling, you can experience pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral
There
feelings. But
would
if
be. There
yeah,
would be. So ultimately, you have to drop sensuality, come into the jhana, the rupa jhana. Then you have to drop the rupa jhana, go into the arupa jhana. Then you drop the arupa jhana by removing the plug. So unless we practice stopping the sensual experience, you can't really see what is beyond that because it's covered. We might argue it intellectually, but really you won't have any experience of jhanic. It's a totally different experience than the this experience, sensuality. All that we are speaking today is on sensuality. 99.99 percentage of our talks are sensuality. We rarely discuss real jhanic experience, so to say. So we are too far away from there. First, if you do this, the animitta of sensuality, if we do it, it turns jhanic because the consciousness knows how to get into jhana. You don't have to teach it. Hey, you know what? Let me teach you jhana. It's a get lost. I know it. What jhana are you going to teach me? Because you are the consciousness. So what will you teach to yourself? Right? That's not going to happen. Because consciousness knows. It knows. It has a perception. It has a feeling. It knows. So we don't have to teach anything about consciousness to the consciousness. You need to remove the plug from one place and put it in another place, call it as aninjabi. Then that first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, like that, it starts to happen. Then you remove from that and put into arupa. So then the rupa experience is gone. The arupa experience is going to be there. Then you remove the perception. The feeling is dead. That's how we do it. Okay. So the breath is a gateway. Why? Because number one, it arises, passes away. Number two, it is neutral. So when there is neutrality, you don't have to do anything. It is automatic. So that means it doesn't take sides. Another thing, breath is, it doesn't take side. Have you seen any breath taking any side? No. It doesn't take anybody's side. It changes based upon your emotion. So when I see something, there's an emotional change, burst, the breath changes. Then it again comes back. Then sound changes, taste changes, like that. So if I pull out the plug out of the six senses, can the experience be found? Answer is no. So that is animitta. You remove the nimitta, symbol. So the moment I remove the symbolization of Australia, it's dead, gone. There's no excitement. Otherwise, today we are on 20th of March. 13 more days, Bobby, we are going to have bonfire. And if it is true, let's say it's true, then what happens? The nibbana is gone, even the jhana is gone. So what I should be doing, even before I arrive there, I should be in jhana completely, at least in the 8th jhana all the time, before I reach Australia. If it is true, I really do it, then what happens? Once I land in Sydney, there is no Sydney being experienced. So there is no stress. Do I really require sleep? No. You're operational. No jet lag. 12 hours flight. Doesn't matter. Because there's no 12 hours. The time is gone. There's no space. Time and space as a construct. It's gone. So then from there to Brisbane, it is showing half an hour flight, but actually it is 1.5 hour flights, because 1 hour is missed out when I move from Sydney to Brisbane. So it shows as though in half an hour I'm landing in Brisbane. So 1:30 I land, maybe by 2 o'clock I'm outside airport, and then I meet Mr. Bobby. Should I create Bobby in Bangalore? No. Should I create Bobby when I see Bobby? Answer is yes. So called, just for the sake of it. So when I see this figure standing in front of me, I call it Bobby. While I know for sure there's no Bobby. If it is true, Bobby, then I'll be unbiased with you, no matter what you say. And with Merin and with everyone. So that's what it is. Okay, I need to be going. So I have an important meeting. Let me finish that meeting, and then tomorrow we'll take up Mahahatti Pada Upama Sutta.